we have three special presentations. And I'm going to come out front, and the first one we have is Joel Thompson.
A lot of years of service.
Yeah. How are you? Good. Joel, and I'll say this for all three of you, you're going to be missed. We're losing a lot of experience tonight. We hate to lose you, but enjoy your retirement. In appreciation, this certificate of appreciation is presented to Joel R. Thompson, Jr., who on December 1st, 2023, retired from employment with the City of Albemarle after 30.5 years of loyal and faithful service. On behalf of the citizens of Albemarle, the mayor and the city council have authorized this certificate and extend best wishes for a well-earned rest and a long and happy life. Let's get a picture. And if you want to say anything. Joel, thank you for all you've done for the city. We appreciate it. And like I said, you know a lot that we're going to lose tonight. So would you like to say anything?
I just wish the rest of the guys well. There's a lot of hard nights and days, weekends, stuff missed from my family. But I got a lot to look forward to now.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. James Thomas.
He doesn't look old enough to retire.
Another old timer. We're losing a lot of experience with you too.
Yep.
In appreciation, this certificate of appreciation is presented to James D. Thomas, who on December the 1st, 2023, retired from employment with the City of Albemarle after 30 years of loyal and faithful service. On behalf of the citizens of Albemarle, the mayor and city council have authorized this certificate and extend best wishes for a well-earned rest and a long and happy life. We're going to throw it on the floor. We're going to throw it on the floor. Thank you. What you want to say? Well, we appreciate all you've done. Thank you. Sammy Lilly.
Bulldog pride.
Was it a requirement for everybody here to go 30 years tonight? All of you out of the same department, and all got 30 years plus. So thank you very much. In appreciation, this certificate of appreciation is presented to Sammy D. Lilly, who on December 1st, 2023, retired from employment with the City of Albemarle after 30 years of loyal and faithful service. On behalf of the citizens of Albemarle, the mayor and city council have authorized this certificate and extend best wishes for a well-earned rest and a long and happy life. Would you like to say anything?
I just want to thank the city for giving me the opportunity to come to work for a good company and everything, and I really enjoyed my 30 years. I will miss the most my co-workers and everything, but I'm still part of the family.
Thank you. And before you leave, Joel, y'all come back up here. Let's get all three of you in a picture. Not often I have three in one department leave at one time. Let him get a picture.
I'm gonna get out of that picture.
I'm trying to stay out of it. I was able.
Gentlemen, thank you for all you've done for the city and for this community. Our residents have been well treated by you over the years, and you've taken care of them. So thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to approval of the minutes. Approval of minutes for the November 30th council work session, the December 4th special and closed meeting, and the December 4th regular and closed meeting. Motion by Councilmember Hall to approve.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Townsend. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll move into administrative reports. 6A, fiscal year 2023 audit presentation. Martin Starnes and Associates will be here to make this presentation.
Good evening. My name is Jill Vang, and I'm from Martin Starnes and Associates, and I'll be presenting the fiscal year 2023 audited financial statement. Your audit has been submitted to a local government commission, and we're awaiting their approval. I will begin with some audit highlights. This year, we issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean and the best opinion that you can get. We tested 3 major programs as part of the single audit reporting, and the programs were COVID-19 Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, the Public Housing Operating Fund, and the Powell Bill Program. In fiscal year 2023, GASB 96 was implemented, and that was the subscription-based information technology arrangement. And we will discuss performance indicators and findings and self-reporting towards the end of the presentation. This is what comprises the total fund balance. We have restricted fund balance at $3.1 million, and these are external restrictions, laws and grantors. There's non-spendable, and these are not in cash form. These are like your inventories and prepaid. Assigned fund balance are internal restrictions, such as amounts appropriated in next year's budget, and amounts that have been earmarked for specific expenditures, like the park and recreation and streets. And then the leftover remaining portion is unassigned at $8 million. And then your total fund balance in fiscal year 2023 in the general fund was at $11.7 million. This slide shows the total fund balance in the general fund over the past 3 years. You can see 2021 to 2022, it decreased a little. And then from 2022 to 2023, total fund balance increased $2.4 million, or approximately 26.8%. This slide shows the general fund balance, available fund balance percentage. The local government commission has a minimum fund balance available percentage at 25% for units with general fund expenditures above $10 million. So that's the group that you guys are in, general fund expenditures over $10 million. The average of similar units are at 46%. In 2023, the city's fund balance percentage was at 41.7%, which is above the minimum, but a little bit below the average. This slide shows the general fund revenues and expenditures for 2022 and 2023. And this slide does include your transfer ins, transfer outs, and debt proceeds. There's an increase in total revenues of $3.9 million, or about 19.3%. And the increase was due to transfers in from the ARPA fund and increases in ad valorem taxes. An increase was also noted in total expenditures of $238,000, or 1.1%, which is very comparable to prior year. This slide shows the revenue sources in the general fund for 2023. Property taxes was the highest at 42%, unrestricted intergovernmental at 39%, sales and services at 10%, and other revenues at 9%. And these percentages were comparable to fiscal year 2022. This slide shows the expenditures in the general fund. Public safety was the highest at 54%, public works at 17%, general government at 13%, and then other expenditures at 17%. And these percentages were also very comparable to prior year as well. This slide shows an overview of all 4 of your enterprise funds, and it includes your water and sewer fund, your electric fund, landfill fund, and the Department of Public Housing Fund. Unrestricted net position decreased 2.8 million, or about 12% from prior year. This is mainly due to negative net change in negative change in net position in the current year, mainly in the landfill fund. Cash flows from operation increased 693,000, mainly due to increases in cash received from customers. The change in net position increased due to less transfer out in fiscal year 2023. And also there was a large transfer into the water and sewer fund from the American Rescue Plan Fund. This slide shows a quick ratio for the water and sewer fund for the past 3 years. The quick ratio is a calculation that measures an entity's ability to meet its short-term obligations with its most liquid asset. In 2023, the water and sewer quick ratio was at 4.04, and the LGC is normally concerned with a quick ratio less than 1. This slide shows the quick ratio for the electric fund for the past 3 years. In 2023, the electric fund's quick ratio was at 6.59, and then again, the LGC is normally concerned with anything less than 1. Some performance indicators. Along with the submission of the audit to the LGC, we are required to complete a data input sheet with various financial information. Jacob reviews and certifies this template to be submitted. This template analyzes the data and provides the results as performance indicators. Performance indicators ranges from deficit fund balance, statutory violations, or significant findings. And the city had both negative and positive performance indicators. There was 1 financial statement finding and 4 compliance findings. Of the compliance findings, 3 were related to the Public Housing Operating Fund program, and 1 was related to the Powell Bill program. And details for these findings can be found in the compliance section of the audit report. The water and sewer condition of assets is a new ratio this year on the data input sheet. The city's result was at 0.41. The minimum threshold by the Local Government Commission is a remaining useful life of assets greater than or equal to 0.5. A remaining useful asset value less than 0.5 may signal the need to replace the assets in the near future. And so that's why it's a negative performance indicator. With self-reporting, the LGC is no longer sending out unit letters. And so within 60 days of this presentation, the board must issue a written response to the above that I just mentioned with explanations and/or corrective action. The correspondence must be signed by board members, city manager, and the finance director. Now we'll look at some positive performance indicators. The audit was timely submitted to the Local Government Commission. As discussed earlier, the general fund balance available for fiscal year 2023 was at 41.7%, which is above the minimum. Also, as discussed earlier, the quick ratios for the water and sewer fund and the electric fund were above the minimum of 1. The city also has a stable property tax collection percentage at 98.3%. And the city met the operating net income and cash expense ratio in both the electric fund and the water and sewer fund. I want to thank you for allowing us to serve as your auditors this year, and thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Council have any questions?
I do, a couple of things. And because this is the first we've seen this big packet, do have a couple of questions, mainly so that, remember, my fellow constituents up here, the elected body, knowing that, and I say this every year, not just this year, knowing that this audit is not for staff, the audit is directed to us, the elected folks. And it's ours. We're the ones that it gets reported to. We're the ones that are held accountable to whatever is reported to the LGC. And, you know, because staff does the work and you work with staff to do it, it's the assumption that this report is to staff, but it's not, it's to us. And-
Right. That is why the LGC said that for those performance indicators of concerns, that the response has to be signed by the board, the city manager, and the finance director.
Right, which leads me to the specific question.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll go back to the performance, to the findings,
Okay.
and you gave us a referral, you said they can be found in such and such. If you don't mind taking a few moments and walking us through where those are in here.
Yes.
We were told by the city manager that we would have these, but I would like to see them, just to be fiscally responsible.
So the compliance section's in the back of the report. The compliance section does start on page 165. But that's where the letters of the compliance section start.
Okay, thank
The
you.
actual findings itself starts on page 176.
And these findings were of the three different single line audits that you did, right?
So, yes, so the first one is a financial statement finding. And so that's the one on page 176.
Okay,
That's finding 2023-001.
okay,
And then finding on page 177, 178, and 179 are related to the Public Housing Operating Fund.
okay,
And the one page on 180 is related to the Powell Bill program.
very good.
And then there were no findings in the other COVID-19 coronavirus program, the ARPA fund that I mentioned. There were no findings there.
Just to go back and follow up, you found these findings were actually on the three single audits that you did. Is that correct?
We're on the two, yes.
Or the
Two of the
two.
three. Yes,
Two of the three.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
And you have the findings, you have the effect, you have the calls.
Correct.
And the recommendations to rectify the problem.
Correct.
Further questions, comments?
You made two other comments that the LGC letter now, because today is the 18th of December,
Mhm.
needs to be sent to the LGC within 60 days.
60
of
days, correct.
Today's,
Of the presentation of today's date, correct.
with what the findings were and how they're going to be fixed. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you made a reference a couple of times to that we were above minimum and below average or something to that nature. And fiscal year 23, what was that number
So
that we needed to be?
if you're referring to
It's a
the
percentage.
general fund,
I am.
available fund balance percent, so the city was at 41.7, the minimum was 25%, and the average was 40, let me look this up real quick. Average of similar units was 46%.
And so I would,
But the average of what?
Of
cities
similar
our
units,
size or what?
similar units in the general fund expenditures of more than $10 million.
which is pretty wide range when you think about it.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. It's a really wide range.
There is.
If that is the only indicator,
Mhm.
of entities over, local government entities over $10 million. I mean, that's pretty wide.
Right.
So
I
when you
think they
think
only
about
have like
Without,
4 categories. I brought that page of the data input sheet. Yes, they have 4 categories. They have general fund expenditures less than 100,000, They have the 100,000 to the 999,999, and then the 1 million to 9,999,999, and then the above 10 million threshold. So there's 4 categories.
Council have any further questions?
Before we move forward with the letter to the LGC, I mean, I know these things have got to be rectified, but we will see that letter before it goes off. Is that correct, Ronnie?
Yes, because we have to sign it.
Well, I know we have to sign it. You actually, I think, will end up signing it on behalf of council. I mean, it's not something that ends up with all 8 elected, I wouldn't think.
We can find out more information, but I think my note says all board members.
Oh, good. Okay. Again, this is the first that we've seen of this particular one.
Right.
Thank you.
Further questions, council?
No.
Ms. Bain, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to 6B, the monthly departmental reports are in your agenda. Questions, comments? Move on to the consent agenda. 7A, project closeout ordinance for fiscal years ending June 30th, 2022 and June 30th, 2023. Actually include multiple ordinances, 2343, 2344, 2345, 2346, 2347, 2348, and 2349. 7B is ordinance 2350 for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation phase 3 project budget. 7C is ordinance 2351 amending the fiscal year 2023-24 operating budget. 7D is the annual property tax write-off, and that's for the year 2012, required to do 10 years. 7E is AX 2401 petition for annexation of 2.36 acres on Anderson Grove Church Road. That is to set a public hearing on January the 8th. 7F is to request to improve incentive for the City Employee United Way campaign. And 7G is the unsealing of closed session minutes. Questions, comments?
I just would like to pull, just so it's by itself, 7E off, just to be voted on by itself.
Do I have a motion to approve the remaining items?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Aldridge.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Townsend. Further discussion? All
Just-
those in favor
Just
say
one,
aye.
just one question,
Yes, sir.
Mayor. I just thought about it. Apologize. On the unsealing of the closed session minutes, I know we're going from 2021 forward. Do we have anything lingering prior to 2021? Still does not partially or?
I will
fully
refer
unseal?
that to Ms. Birch.
It's not on.
It is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So far, the city clerk and I are working to get all the minutes up to current time. And we're working on that in conjunction with the city manager. So as soon as we get all the closed minutes that are available to be sealed, kind of as current time as much as we can, we're going to retroactively look at other minutes to bring those forward as well.
So I think the question, though, is do we have out prior to January 2021? Are there dated prior to January 2021? I think that was the question.
So, the minutes, they can become unsealed as the topic for which they were allowed to be sealed is no longer relevant or needed. So council, I think the last year or so has been brought forward pause for a second. So there always have to be reviewed, but just in the last year and a half, I think calendar year 20 and 19 and maybe even 18 have been brought forward to council. So they have to continually be reviewed, but the older ones have been reviewed and presented to council just in recent times as well. So are actually working our way forward.
Right.
I have a motion and a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Now moving to 7E for the annexation of 2.36 acres on Anderson Grove Church Road to set a public hearing for January the 8th. So moved. Motion by Councilmember Dry. Second by Councilmember Whitley. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to new business. 8A, consider vacancy on the tree commission. Council, you have some applications in your agenda. I think you have two.
Hold on, one of them was,
One of them is one of the, I think one of the new owners of what used to be called Back and Dash.
yes, and
That's one of them.
that's right. And the tree commission, they do not have to live, that, I think that's what I was holding off on. The tree commission, they do not have to be a resident of the city of Albemarle. Okay, that's one of the very few things that we have within the city of Albemarle, because we have folks on there who are not.
And
Right.
the other one is actually a city employee that works for the Parks and Recreation
Right,
Department.
right. Your Honor, I would like to appoint Ms. Ashton, Nicole Ashton.
Have a
This was
motion
the
to-
sixth choice of that person.
Well, it's the sixth choice of both of them, I think, if you look. The Miss Ashton has actually, Nicole has actually made application for other boards as well, but because they do not live within the city of Albemarle, they live just outside the city, she can't be on several of those because of that.
It's actually the first choice of the other candidate.
Is it the first?
Yeah, Miss Burris is
Yeah,
the first
she did.
choice.
Yes.
It's the
It-
first,
First and the sixth. I knew it was the sixth.
Third, fourth. fifth.
Yeah.
And the
She's
fourth.
got it listed
Right.
somewhere. She likes trees.
let me ask this, how many city employees do we have on that board? Mr. Parrish?
None of the, I guess I'll call them congressional members, which are the ones council appoints. There are ex officio members, such as myself and the utilities director position and some other positions within the city. But I don't think any of the current council appointed tree commission members are currently city employees.
All right, council, currently I have a motion on the floor to appoint Nicole Ashton. Do I have a second?
Here.
That motion dies for lack of a second.
Mayor, I make a nomination to appoint Cynthia Burris to the tree commission.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilmember Townsend to appoint Cynthia Burris, second by Councilmember Aldridge. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving on to 8B for selection of a delegate and alternate for a Central Line Regional Council Board of Delegates. I believe our current delegate is Mayor Pro Tem Hall, and our second is Councilman Whitley. I have heard no otherwise. I assume both of them are willing to continue.
I am willing to. I've done it between city and county for nearly 30 years, and I would say to folks, if you have any idea that you would like to know more about what Central Ina, the Council of Government, does, you are more than welcome to take that appointment. It does meet 10 of the 12 months a year. I mean, yeah, that's right, 10 of the 12. Or I end up going 10 of the 12. The delegates themselves only go 4 of the 6. So I'll do it if nobody else wants to do it.
I move we name Mayor Pro Tem Hall as the delegate and Councilman Whitley as the alternate.
Have a motion by Councilmember Bramlett.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Hall as the delegate and Councilmember Whitley as the alternate. Have a second by Councilmember Townsend. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Before we go into the roundtable, there's going to be several questions I know asked of the waste management issue. So I'm going to ask Ross Holzhauser to come on forward. And Mr. Parrish, you want to say anything about that?
No, I think Ross will cover it, other than, there's been issues with waste management for quite a while, and Ross will share what he and his staff have been trying to communicate and encourage from waste management.
You will give us an update on where we stand with the situation and what's going on and what you know.
As of the last communication today that I received, obviously Waste Management is behind schedule on leaves. They are working in Zone 6 today, which if you look at the calendar, they're about 4 days off from being a complete cycle behind. I think if you look at our current calendar right now, Zone 6 should come up Thursday.
Right.
They are currently operating 2 trucks. I don't know that they've even had 3 trucks running 100% during this whole leaf season. According to the email that I received today, the 3rd truck should be up and running at least by midweek this week if parts come in. And then their goal is to keep 3 trucks running until they catch up. They say that they've got staff ready and trained to operate the 3 trucks. They're just trying to get their trucks up and running.
Did you talk to Maryland or who'd you talk to?
These are emails from Maryland.
At last time they were here, they told us they would take care of notifying everybody where they stood. I haven't seen anything come out from them. Have you?
I have reached out to Maryland also. David Fath has reached out to Maryland. We've got emails that go back to July, where we built the database of customers, sent it to Waste Management. They were supposed to implement some type of notification service. I haven't seen anything either. We did reach out to Waste Management and ask them to try to notify residents about the delays in leaf collection. I received a response back. The response that I got was basically stating that the way their notification system is set up is based on trash collection routes. So the addresses that are keyed into their notification system would be for Monday trash collection service, Tuesday trash collection service, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday trash collection service. And as most of you know, our leaf schedule in the zones for the leaf map does not align with the regular reoccurring trash collection.
Why couldn't they just notify everybody?
That was the email that I sent back today.
Okay.
Please notify everybody,
Yeah.
because everybody is affected by
Yeah.
this. Her response back to that was that she was going to try to get back with her higher ups or the people that do the notification side, and she would let me know. And I have not heard back from her since that.
Did they start out behind this year? I mean, were they like from day? Has it been, well, I know
They were behind after the first cycle.
Yeah.
We've been receiving phone calls since the end of October on how they were.
I know they hadn't communicated very well, but I was just wondering with this year if it was mainly mechanical or labor.
I've got some.
still both.
I've received email correspondence that it's mainly mechanical, but there's been some emails that have been shared where drivers called in sick, personnel, somebody had to pull off the route, an emergency. That's what we're hearing.
I know council sort of told staff not to be doing any notifications. Let's leave it all with Waste Management when she was here, but she's not, or they are not doing what they said they would do. Do you have any suggestions or how we're going to handle this? Or
I will leave that up to our public information officer. David and I have talked numerous times about how we're going to navigate this moving forward as well. So, but
my answer in the short run would be based on the communication Ross had today about that all customer notification. I'd like to give them 24 hours to do that for us. I know that the city managers communicated with everyone that we have posted on our city's website, acknowledging their delays and the reasons that they've given. So we have done some communication in that forum. So I'd like to see them follow through. We've told them we understand their reasoning for not being able to do individual notifications, but we'd like to give them the time to give a full customer notification to everybody affected, as Councilman mentioned.
well, I think they should. They got to understand. I don't think we go anywhere that we don't hear about leaves right now. So they need to be following up on their job. And I know we don't have a whole lot to hold over their head right now, with this being the final year that they're going to be doing leaf collection for us. But They are getting paid to do it. Do our best to get them to do their job.
We've been fighting this battle for years.
That's all.
Well, thank you, because I made a comment. I know that Mr. Ferris sent us something on Tuesday of last week. I sent something to him on Tuesday before he sent out the information. I got 20 calls just this weekend. I mean, either in face-to-face and that kind of thing. I appreciate what
It's
you.
the same for city staff.
I
We
know
can't
it
go out
is.
in public without somebody
No,
asking us what the status is.
That, I understand that. Even in church, you
Yeah.
get it. My comment would be, and this is, if we knew in July that there was some communication, that they were going to do some kind of email communication, this is, 6 months later, and we're still fighting it. Mayor just mentioned this is our last time working with them with leaves, and people need to know that they're not going to be doing leaves again after March. We're going to be doing it in-house. I thought about that this weekend. We won't have this problem next year because I know,
Cross our fingers.
I know
Don't
you
jinx
well
us.
enough, Ross. You will have them out there working 7A to 7P, 7 or 6 days a week.
Barring any breakdowns.
That
Again,
I know
we
that.
may
So
be
this-
fighting the same battle. I don't want to discredit breakdowns.
I
'cause
don't think this
yeah.
will happen next year, okay? The one thing that I am, and that I have conferred this or made the comment to you all in a text just this weekend, we look at this schedule, and this is what everybody in the city looks at, is what was published, and this is what they pull their leaves to the road by, is when they say, get your leaves to the road by this date. And like you said, there are 4 days from missing a complete cycle. We won't be 4 days from making a payment on them doing that, guys. Okay? So, and this is not our first day at the rodeo dealing with that. So, I have said to Mr. Ferris and to everybody up here, guys, we owe it to our citizens. And if it's not going to come from Waste Management, then it needs to come from us. And as of today, I understand between you and David, it's going to come from them. But guys, if we knew this 6 months ago that they were going to try to do this, then where have we been the last 2 months since leaves started being collected? And again, I know
We have been asking.
I know
There,
that.
there are repeated emails on, please notify our customers, where do you stand on our customers? And we get no response on that end.
And what I'm saying to council, we're going to continue to pay them, and they've not continued to meet their end of the deal. But we owe it to our constituents to do better than what we've done. Thank you for staying on them. But for a long time, it was always COVID was the issue. We can't blame everything on COVID anymore. So thank you.
Further questions, comments?
They were out really early this morning. It sounded like helicopters through our neighborhood. My neighbors asked me to take pictures in front of my house that were 4 feet high. Went from one driveway down to the other driveway. When I went to work this morning about 7:30, they were going down and just hitting it like crazy. And I asked them if they would back up because going back and forth, they took half the pallet, put it underneath the truck. And they had a little lady that I met last week in training. And when I talked with her, all she could do was just sort of smile and go, don't ask me what's going on because I don't have any idea. But it's a shame that as many times as we've talked with them in person, that it seems like each time we do, the service level goes down and goes down and goes down. I realize also that they probably have a staffing issue, probably more difficult than some. But regardless of that, when you sign a contract, you are responsible. So I don't know that there's anything that we could do with regard to what we do owe, should owe, that could be discussed with them, through our legal, parties to let our citizens know, at least we understand we're taking care and we're making a very valid effort to, not to, we can't rectify the problem, but I don't think as council, as Mayor Pro Tem Hall said, we pay for service, we shouldn't have to pay for non-service.
And the local people are probably doing what they can. I mean, they may just not be given the resources they need to do everything. So I saw them out one day and they had someone out actually raking, with a rake, raking the leaves back from the middle of the road to get them to where they could suck them up with the truck. So, I wouldn't put all the blame on these folks, but they're the ones that are there to take the brunt.
Well,
Like we are.
Yeah, the big rain before this,
Yeah,
actually,
it was after the rain.
that one
Yeah.
cut tributaries through the leaves and moved them across, probably to the middle of the road. And if you ever try to get wet
That's what it
leaves
was.
with a blower, you might as well be trying to sit right here and blow a flame out at the back of the room. It's just not going to happen. But I think the only way, in my opinion, and what it's worth, is that, again, we pay for what you do. We shouldn't have to pay for what you don't do.
And I guess the lesson learned is that when we start doing this ourselves in October, probably October.
Next October.
Yeah, next October. When we start doing this ourselves in October, that we don't arbitrarily, as I believe has been done in the past, take a 6-month schedule and just say, zone 1, zone 2, zone 2, zone 3. We don't arbitrarily do that. There ought to be enough data out there, and this is something else I have conveyed to you all, just my belief again, for what it's worth. We can tell it's going to take a little bit longer on the first run than it's going to take later. And I think we can, moving forward, Ross, I put a lot of faith in you starting in October when we start collecting leaves. I really do. It's to give folks a more realistic calendar. I mean, there are people out there that are busting it to make their date, and then it's 3 weeks later.
And that is something that I'm seriously thinking about already because, again, we've only got 2 units ordered for the whole city. And here we are begging Waste Management to put 3 units on us right now. So, we're going to have our challenges the first year, and I don't want to sugarcoat that we're going to be perfect because we can run into issues as well next year. So from a staffing level, I don't think we'll have any problem, but we only have 2 units ordered. I don't want to make any promises, but that is one thing that I've considered is maybe trying to extend some days in the peak seasons to be realistic, to give us an opportunity to make sure we're doing it right too.
Because all we've done this year is we've taken last year's calendar and copied it, just changed the date.
I think that's been the standard practice.
It has.
30 years.
It
probably.
has, but it shouldn't be because today we live in data all the time.
Well, in all fairness, several years ago, Michael can attest to this. I would say 4 to 5 years ago, we could work with Waste Management, and we were able to make suggestions and ask for a plan on how are you going to catch up, and they would offer to work on Saturdays, and that stopped about 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know what changed with Waste Management. I don't know why it changed, but there were times that if they knew they got behind, they would work ahead or work over and work through weekends to try to catch themselves back up. But that just has not been, for some reason, the past 3 years, it hasn't been an option for them to want to catch back up. So,
Ross, David, thank you very much, and continue the best you can with them. We appreciate it. Coming around the table, Mr. Ferris.
I don't have anything to add.
Mr. Townsend.
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Bramlett.
I have a little bit of news that might be of interest to some folks. Starnes Jewelers has been in downtown Albemarle for 125 years. This is our 125th. Last Friday, my oldest grandson turned in his notice at his place of work in Knoxville, Tennessee, and will be here in January to start work as the 4th generation. Starnes Jewelers.
Good.
That is great.
Thank you.
Good.
Mr. Aldridge.
All right, couple things. There's a green sign up on Highway 52. If you're coming into the city, it's if you're coming south on 52, it's just past Friendly Chevrolet. Then you have the skating rink, the gym there. It's a City of Albemarle sign, but it looks like it's kind of dilapidated. I've had several people reach out to me. Do we know? Does anybody staff know who maintains that sign, where it came from? Anybody know about that?
I think you're talking about the signs that ADDC got put out many years ago. And gradually, as these things have deteriorated to such a bad condition, they've been taken down because we have in our new plans to go to a different sign, but we have not started funding any of those signs yet. So that was something the council will have to start funding in the budget. Now, if it's bad enough we need to take it down, we need to ask ADDC if they can do that.
Can we have somebody reach out and see if that's possible?
Yeah, we can ask Lindsay to look at that for us. Okay.
Second thing, question on the fire truck that we just got back. I think it was in the city connection that was cost the cost to refurbish that was like $120,000. Is that the correct cost? Does anybody know? Can somebody, Chief, you want to? Is that correct? Was it $120,000 to get that truck redone? Can somebody come up here to the microphone, please?
That might be a question we have to let them come back with.
Yeah, just to clarify, is it the one that we budgeted for in 22 or 23?
The ladder truck refurbishment.
Yeah,
What?
the one we just got. Yeah.
I think it was around that amount, but I can get you the exact dollar figure.
Okay.
Be glad to get that for you.
Yeah, I'd like to have that if you could. Also, what is the chief? You may want to. I want to ask you what is our plan moving forward on the. I know we've in the past 6 or 8 months, or maybe even longer than that, we have been some of the volunteer fire departments throughout the county have been very gracious in lending us their fire trucks. But the more I've thought about this thing, I think one of the council members brought this up at the last meeting, or maybe the meeting before that. We're Albemarle. We're the county seat here, and it's to me it's somewhat embarrassing that we're having to borrow apparatus from these other departments. And I realize that this doesn't fall on one person's shoulders. We didn't just wake up one morning needing 3 or 4 new fire trucks. But when you look at our fleet, I just it pains me a little bit to again think about having to take these trucks from a volunteer agency, and also the liability that puts even on those departments if they have an emergency in their area. What kind of burden and strain does that do on them? So what are our plans to get this thing back under control?
Excuse me, council. Excellent question. My first year here, I was tasked with identifying needs for the fire department. There were 3 critical areas that we chose, that we looked at and we identified: personnel, apparatus, and facilities. A plan was put together. That plan, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have seen that over the past 2 years, to where we will build in replacements periodically. So as of right now, we have 1 apparatus coming in. We have 2 that are allocated within the CIP for this session. Unfortunately, the trucks that we have, they are aging. There is nothing we can do about that. The only thing we can do is actually do what's being done, and that is maintain them to the best of our ability. When we send them to the shop, unfortunately, they are tasked with so many other things that they can't get to the trucks in time. So we have to send them out for heavier cost for quicker response. So to say that the level of embarrassment on the apparatus to have them goes beyond that level of administration. The happy part about this, the successful part about this, is that we have had relationships that we built throughout, not just now, but previously, to where we're fighting the same battle. And that battle is keeping our people safe regardless of what community we're part of. So I'm thankful that we do have those relationships. But long story short, our fleet is aging. Parts are hard to come by. We are doing the best we can to keep them in the road. Things will happen. We're trying to do our best. That's the best answer I can give you, which is the most honest answer I can give you.
Council, you may remember at our strategic planning, we talked a little bit about the truck that will be here now, I think in January. But we also mentioned that we needed to go ahead and start the process this year of getting another one ordered. Because we order it in July, we're a year out before it's going to come. So we need to start that process probably this.
Well, it seems,
We're looking at 36 months on a pumper, the one that we're ordering right now. So if we went ahead and gave the go ahead for a pumper right now, we're looking at anywhere between 24 to 36 months. That's if they can get everything into structure. For a ladder truck, as our city is growing, we're looking at 36 to 48 months.
yeah, and I know these things take time, but and I may be wrong, I may be standing corrected on this deal, but if I remember right, the interim chief that we had before you were hired, I thought I remember him putting a strategic plan or him talking about these things even before Chief Bruton was here. Is that correct?
That's correct. The Chief Bruton, what he's talking about, that's the plan that he's worked on and added to. Chief Oak, prior to that, had some ideas. Chief Ayers put together some information, and then Chief Bruton finalized it. So that's what Chief is talking about. What we are seeing right now is actually the plan put into action. So part of that plan is facilities. We know we've made some investments in the facilities themselves. It was also to add personnel. So we've added personnel for the first time in 30 years. So we're up 4 from where we were just 2 fiscal years ago. And then the pumper truck was purchased. It has been, when it was, yeah, it's been probably delayed 10 months to a year. Don't want to forget too, that one thing we did differently this time was we refurbished the ladder truck, which allowed us to make the pumper truck and personnel additions earlier than planned. That ladder truck was a current unit. So it's not, we had one coming in and then immediately replacing the other. We had to take one out of service. So that's probably a little bit of a difference of what you're seeing, but what, as a result, what we have when this new pumper truck comes in January or February, we'll have a completely refurbished truck and a brand new truck.
Please understand that circumstances, as the city manager spoke, it was a comedy of errors. We had a truck that was out for refurbishment. We had a pumper, 3 Class A pumpers. 2 of the 3 Class A pumpers went down along with a spare. So that put us in detrimental lines right there. Again, I'm thankful for relationships. I'm thankful for opportunities that other communities do see that, yes, we are the seat. And in order for us to help them, they have to help us as well.
If I may, I don't know how many of you listened to the radio this morning. Dave Andrews interviewed a couple of your firefighters, and we're talking about the ladder truck and all that was done to it. I heard it twice, and each time I could get a little more enthusiasm as to how they felt about that ladder truck, from the ladder going up and the pistons and this. And I mean, they went into pretty great detail about it. So I think we got our money's worth on that. I think, your folks have a greater idea of what things are in terms of cost, but many times a vehicle can be good, and just a little bit of a tune-up here and there makes a big difference. Now, it's not a little bit at $100,000+, but we're not dealing with a roller skate car either. So I thank you for what you did. I understand Bill's concern, and we all share that. But at the same time, I think we've got to do what we have to do. If we can keep our current apparatus in service and we can get the repairs done, the parts necessary, then that's what, in my opinion, we've got to do that as well.
It's kind of like the water and sewer infrastructure. It's going to take some time to get it back to where it should be.
Since there's not a ladder on the pumpers, would they be able to be refurbished fairly quickly, or much quicker than the ladder was? help us out. It's gonna take so long to get these. Maybe we should have another one refurbished in the meantime.
During this budget calendar, the truck that's being replaced is scheduled to go into maintenance for an overhaul. And so when the new one comes in, the other truck will go in, and once it comes back, it will be a top of the line, a top of the line backup unit.
Further questions?
Just a comment. I think that from this, and thank you, Mr. Aldridge, for asking these questions. It goes to show us that, we can't wait till we need it. We got to be looking ahead. And if a capital improvement plan, that's what it is, then we, council, need to stand fast in funding what needs to be funded so we don't get caught like this. I mean, you got to do it. So thank you, Mr. Aldridge, for asking the question.
Any further, Mr. Aldridge?
No, sir.
Ms. Hall?
I'm going to ask that I go last.
Oh, wait a minute, Your Honor. I do have one more thing. I want to congratulate, no, not with you, Chief. You're good.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate our finance department. They were awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. I think this was the 6th consecutive year for this recognition. So congratulations. Good job on that deal. So, and Merry Christmas to everyone. So thanks to all the department heads, thanks to all the staff, and for everything that you do day in and day out, the sacrifices you make, they do not go unnoticed. And thank you again. Thank you.
Mr. Whitley?
Just wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy some time off and stay safe and enjoy some good time with your family.
Mr. Dry?
Just Merry Christmas, enjoy the family, be safe, and we look forward to another good year.
Mr. Hunt?
Merry Christmas.
We could do
Mayor,
that in.
Ms. Hall?
I was the only one who didn't say Merry Christmas. I will say Merry Christmas, and don't forget, I am Santa Claus.
We're having a tie contest tonight, so hold your ties up.
We could have
You
said
vote at the end.
we could have said Merry Christmas in unison. Just a couple of follow-ups to the departmental reports. Sometime in January, Mr. Ferris, I don't know if it would be the first meeting or if it would be second meeting, because I can't really think about what the agenda looks like for the first one. I would like to meet our interim public housing director, and I would like to have an update on what's going on up there, because there for a long time we knew what was going on there regularly, and I just would like to have somebody come and talk to us about what really is going on.
Yeah, we don't have an interim public housing director. We have an assistant director. We have a public housing advisor who's temporary and part-time.
Whoever you would like to bring to talk with us, I would just like to know about what's going on there, because we get a one-pager in the report, and I can tell, about money and that kind of thing. But I'd like to know, how many are back up to speed and how many we've got, where we are on the renovation on some of those things. Not just for me, but for people who watch and have watched it over the particular past 18 months to 2 years. So if we can have an update on what's going on with public housing.
I'll check her schedule and see when she's available.
Okay, thank you. And to that end, I would love to have a report of where we are. I saw again in the monthly report that we had 2 strike that. We had 1 minimum commercial initiated during November, and 2 initiated with minimal housing. I'd like to have an update at some time, Kevin, even about where they are and what's going on, and where we are on our list for 23, 24. Just so I know that we're halfway during the year. I'd love to know where we are with what we're doing with minimal housing. And I continue to see that we're continuing to have applications open for police officers. Do we have spots right now at the fire department, Chief or Dana? Do we have openings? 1 firefighter opening. And what about police?
Good.
Okay. There might have been one other thing I was looking for. I guess that's it. I guess the last thing is just follow up to the leaf and waste management. And particularly with Mr. Dry echoing the comment about payment. You know, if we're about a cycle behind already, we need to be fiscally responsible. What do? You know, we're telling our folks we'll get them done, and we're still going to be paying the bill. So, Merry Christmas! And city is closed on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Is that right? Is that right?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
On behalf of all of us, Merry Christmas to all of our community and to all of our employees. Thank you very much. And I'll entertain a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 31811, A, 3, and 4 to consult with city attorney and economic development.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Councilmember Dry, second by Councilmember Hall. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion by Councilmember Bramlett,
Second.
second by Councilmember Hall. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Coming out of closed session for consult with the city attorney and economic development, we have nothing to announce. I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn until tomorrow afternoon, December 19th at 4 p.m. for further discussion on personnel and the city manager search process. Motion by Councilmember Aldridge, second by Councilmember Hall. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.